submucosal injection to facilitate safer needle knife sphincterotomy, a novel technique. These are our disclosures. Needle knife sphincterotomy is a valuable rescue technique to achieve deep cannulation of the bile duct when conventional methods fail. It carries a high risk of adverse events such as bleeding and perforation that are largely due to limited visualization and technical complexity. A key limitation of needle knife is the inability to clearly distinguish between ampullary tissue, bile duct, duodenal muscularis propria, and submucosa that often leads to inadvertent injury of the duodenal wall. Prior studies suggest limiting needle knife sphincterotomy to papillas with long intramural segments due to lower adverse event rates in this type of ampullary morphology. In recent years, submucosal dye injection has improved safety in third space procedures by clearly delineating tissue planes. We describe the use of submucosal injection to facilitate precise and controlled layer-by-layer dissection during needle knife sphincterotomy. We describe a 59-year-old female who was referred to our practice for further evaluation of a CT-avid lesion in the pancreatic head with associated jaundice. The patient underwent an endoscopic ultrasound with FNB. She was diagnosed with a head of pancreas adenocarcinoma with distal CBD involvement. It was decided to proceed with the RCP. On ERCP, as seen here, the patient was found to have a flat or type 1 ampulla that is generally considered unfavorable for pre-cut sphincterotomy. Despite multiple attempts using a standard sphincterotome, deep cannulation of the common bile duct was not achieved. Given the potential resectability of the pancreatic lesion, a needle knife approach was selected over EUS-guided drainage. 3 cc of submucosal injection of 6% heterstarch and 0.1% methylene blue was administered approximately 2 mm above the ampullary os. This resulted in a good lift. Following this, a standard needle knife was used and a mucosal incision was made, starting at the ampullary os and extending the incision cranially towards the 12 o'clock position. As is seen here, this resulted in clear separation of the ampullary tissue from the duodenal mucosa and permitted safe dissection and targeted septotomy. As is seen here, there is a clear distinction between the unstained ampulla and the stained duodenal submucosal tissue. A thorough and clear understanding of the anatomical structures allowed us to precisely use the needle knife and dissect the ampulla and perform a septotomy and expose the biliary orifice. To better expose the ampulla, the mucosotomy was extended further. Once the biliary orifice was identified, wire-guided deep cannulation of the bile duct was comfortably obtained as seen here. A subsequent cholangiogram revealed a distal common bile duct malignant appearing stricture with diffuse upstream dilatation of the common bile duct and intrahepatic ducts. The pre-cut sphincterotomy was extended cautiously using a sphincterotome, and a fully covered self-expanding metal stent was successfully placed. The patient was started on a low-fat soft diet. There were no intra- or post-procedural complications. In conclusion, as demonstrated, submucosal injection prior to needle knife sphincterotomy resulted in improved visualization of tissue planes. It allowed for precise and anatomically guided dissection and deep cannulation of the common bile duct. By reducing the risk of injuring the duodenal muscularis propria, this approach may improve safety, particularly in patients with high risk or flat ampullae. Larger prospective studies are needed to validate as a standard adjunct to advanced cannulation. Thank you for your attention.